Tesla's manufacturing efficiency will continue to surge. A new forecast indicates that Tesla's manufacturing efficiency will improve significantly for its upcoming model upgrades. Michigan-based engineering services company Caresoft Global Technologies, which specializes in physical and digital benchmarking, estimates that Tesla's capital investments in plants might reduce by up to 30% in the future. Tesla's manufacturing efficiencies have drawn much attention in recent years. Last year, an analysis named its Fremont facility as North America's most productive automotive factory. The plant reportedly produced more vehicles per week than Toyota's Georgetown, Kentucky facility, BMW's Spartanburg, South Carolina factory, and Ford's Dearborn, Michigan truck plant. Tesla has a corporate culture of pursuing radical improvements from year to year. Even in the same nameplate's design, Caresoft CEO Matthew Vachaparampil told Automotive News. The company projects that assembly times for future Tesla models will improve by 25%, while factory floor space is set to reduce by 30%, along with better paint shop efficiency. The brand's manufacturing prowess, which it even likes to flaunt, has turned heads in the automotive industry. One such example is the GigaPress, a high-pressure die casting machine that injects molten aluminum into casting molds. The process reduced complexities for certain assemblies like the rear underbody, and quite radically cut the number of parts required. Multiple legacy carmakers echoed Tesla's approach after the brand successfully implemented the technique on the Model Y and Model 3. Although brands like Toyota have some catching up to do. The BZ4X is lagging 3 years behind the Model Y in its material and manufacturing costs, as per Caresoft's analysis of EVs. Source: reposted and summarized from Suvrat Kothari at Inside EVS. Patent reveals Tesla Cybertruck tailgate can be remotely opened and closed. The much-anticipated Tesla Cybertruck is fast approaching the day when people who placed a pre-order will have one delivered. And more details about the all-electric pickup are coming to light as development continues on the company's first-ever work truck. According to an international patent application that was filed by Tesla last year but published just last week, and discovered by Twitter user Temperminent, the upcoming zero-emissions pickup will have a nifty mechanism that can remotely open and close the tailgate, including from a key fob or the smartphone app. The whole thing is very compact, fitting inside the rear right side panel of the truck, and at the same time quite complex, consisting of an actuator, a counterweight member, latches, a switch, a controller, and sensors. Tesla describes the system as follows: a system for moving a hinge between an open position and a closed position is disclosed. The hinge couples a closure panel to a body. The system can include an actuator for driving the closure panel between the open position and the closed position. A counterweight member reduces a mechanical effort provided by the actuator to drive the closure panel. The American EV brand goes on to detail how the mechanism used to open and close the Cybertruck's tailgate could also be used in other applications such as opening and closing hinged panels in storage compartments or cargo hauling systems of different vehicles. Furthermore, where EVs are concerned, the system can potentially improve the driving range by an admittedly small margin because it uses fewer components than comparable systems, so it's lighter. With this being said, the lightest system of them all is a simple hinge. But then you'd have to use a hand to open and close the tailgate, which isn't as cool as pressing a button on your smartphone screen. It remains to be seen if this feature actually makes it on the production version of Tesla's all-electric pickup truck. And if it does, it will be interesting to see if the company will offer it as part of the standard kit or if it will be an optional extra. If we were to guess, we'd say that it will be standard across the range. Seeing how the Austin-based firm is trying to streamline its production process as much as possible, which includes slashing the number of possible optional extras. More and more Tesla Cybertruck prototypes have been spotted in the wild in the past few months, including all the way in New Zealand, indicating that the American mark is getting closer and closer to finishing development and finally put into production as a finished vehicle. The pickup was unveiled back in 2019 and is expected to launch sometime in the third quarter of this year. As always, we'd like to know what you think about this, so head over to the comments section below to give us your thoughts. Source: reposted and summarized from Yulia Nistrin at Inside EVS. The switch from CCS1 to Tesla's NACS connector is expected to kill the J1772 AC plug. The North American market appears to be at the beginning of a major transition related to electric vehicle charging, from the combined charging system CCS1 to Tesla's North American charging standard NACS connector. Today, we will take a look at one more thing: the J1772 AC charging connector, also called Type 1, and its potentially gloomy future. As we know, Tesla developed its in-house, proprietary charging connector renamed to NACS for single-phase alternating current AC and direct current DC charging scenarios. Besides Tesla, it will also be natively supported by Ford, General Motors, and Rivian, starting in 2025, actually in 2024, through adapters to CCS1. In the case of the CCS1 and the European CCS2, those connectors were developed for DC fast charging, using an AC charging connector as a base. For backward compatibility, respectively, say J1772 Type 1 in North America and IEC 62196-2 Type 2 in Europe. As a result, there are these connectors: CCS1 complex charging inlets for, say, J1772 Type 1 AC plugs one phase, say J1772 combo CCS1 DC plugs, CCS2 complex charging inlets for IEC 62196-2 Type 2. AC plugs one-phase or three-phase charging scenarios CCS2 DC plugs. It's best explained by the Charging Interface Initiative (CHAR-IN) Association. The switch from CCS1 to NACS, which we believe is happening right now, was mostly associated with DC fast charging. However, if the EV industry will switch from the CCS1 charging connector to NACS, then there will be no point in keeping J1772. The manufacturers for sure will be installing only one charging inlet on the vehicle side. In the case of the NACS charging inlet, it will be utilized for both AC and DC charging scenarios. EV charging infrastructure will follow with NACS-compatible home charging units and public work charging units, potentially dual-head units during the transition period. The J1772 charging points will serve the older electric vehicles and the new ones when combined with a special adapter. Tesla already offers J1772 to NACS adapters. Tesla North American Charging Standard, Tesla Charging Adapter AC, J1772 to Tesla Proprietary Standard. 5 or 10 years from now, we might be at a completely different point when EV charging will be significantly simpler than it is today, especially in the transition period when, on top of having several types of connectors, we have several types of adapters between them. New EV users will appreciate just one plug type for all charging scenarios, AC and DC. The power level will be automatically negotiated between a car and a charging point. As a result, There will be nothing complex to explain to newbie EV buyers. Source: reposted and summarized from Mark Kane at Inside EVS. GM's Chevrolet Silverado EV will not be Tesla compatible. General Motors stated that the Chevrolet Silverado EV will not be Tesla compatible before the model year 2025. The statement leaves some hope that the Silverado EV will eventually switch to Tesla's North American charging standard NACS. The 2024 Chevrolet Silverado EV was most likely designed before General Motors' announcement that it would adopt Tesla NACS. So the Silverado EV's parts and assembly line might not account for Tesla's charging port yet. Twitter account What's Inside provided a sneak peek at the Silverado EV's charging setup. Chevrolet's all-electric pickup truck has a bigger charge port door than other electric pickups like the Tesla Cybertruck. The Silverado EV has a CCS charger and will need an adapter to charge at Tesla supercharger stations. General Motors announced on Monday that Chevrolet Silverado EV deliveries would start in a few weeks. The legacy automaker scrapped the Silverado EV's base variant, which started at $39,000. Deliveries will begin with the $77,905 Silverado EV variant. Later this year, the Silverado EV's work truck variant will launch at $72,905. The Silverado E versus RST will also be available for retail customers by the end of the year for a starting price of $105,000. The Silverado EV will be produced at GM's Factory Zero, which straddles Detroit and Hamtramck, Michigan. Factory Zero is GM's first electric vehicle assembly plant dedicated to production. The Detroit Hamtramck plant dates back to 1985 and has manufactured over 3 million vehicles. Source: reposted and summarized from Maria Morano at Teslarati. Tesla's manufacturing efficiency will continue to improve. A new forecast indicates that Tesla's manufacturing efficiency will improve significantly for its upcoming model upgrades. Michigan-based engineering services company Caresoft Global Technologies, which specializes in physical and digital benchmarking, estimates that Tesla's capital investments in plants might reduce by up to 30% in the future. Tesla's manufacturing efficiencies have drawn much attention in recent years. Last year, an analysis named its Fremont facility as North America's most productive automotive factory. The plant reportedly produced more vehicles per week than Toyota's Georgetown, Kentucky facility, BMW's Spartanburg, South Carolina factory, and Ford's Dearborn, Michigan truck plant. Tesla has a corporate culture of pursuing radical improvements from year to year. Even in the same nameplate's design, Caresoft CEO Matthew Vachaparampil told Automotive News. The company projects that assembly times for future Tesla models will improve by 25%, while factory floor space is set to reduce by 30%, along with better paint shop efficiency. The brand's manufacturing prowess, which it even likes to flaunt, has turned heads in the automotive industry. One such example is the GigaPress, a high-pressure die casting machine that injects molten aluminum into casting molds. The process reduced complexities for certain assemblies like the rear underbody and quite radically cut the number of parts required. Multiple legacy carmakers echoed Tesla's approach after the brand successfully implemented the technique on the Model Y and Model 3. Although, brands like Toyota have some catching up to do. The BZ4X is lagging 3 years behind the Model Y in its material and manufacturing costs, as per Caresoft's analysis of EVs. Source: reposted and summarized from Suvrat Kothari at Inside EVS. Is it a good idea to place the Tesla Cybertruck's charging inlet here? The Tesla Cybertruck all-electric pickup will have a pretty unusual charging inlet location. And in today's post, we will take a while to discuss it. The vehicle was recently presented at the inaugural Electrified Cars and Coffee at Peterson Automotive Museum in California. It's difficult to say how close to the production version it is. For sure it's more advanced than the initial version. When unveiled, the Tesla Cybertruck was equipped with a noticeable charging flap behind the rear wheel. The left rear area is a typical position where Tesla places charging inlets on its electric cars. Tesla Cybertruck charging inlet position in the initial concept version. However, in the case of Franz von Holzhausen's demonstration vehicle at the recent event, the charging inlet position was different in the left rear fender. As we can see in photos and videos provided by Ryan Zohori, Twitter. Behind a small flap is a relatively tiny Tesla North American Charging Standard (NACS) charging inlet. Known from the Model 3, Model S, Model X and Model Y. We must admit that a larger charging inlet, like CCS1, would most likely not fit inside, or at least it would be difficult. In the case of the current location, there is a special light for charging status, shaped as a triangle, to remind us of the Cybertruck's shape. The main question is whether this particular location is a good one. This is a pickup truck after all, and some might use it for serious work, while others will go off-road. We are wondering whether the charging flap will constantly get dirty. If you look carefully at the image of the opened flap, you will see some small signs of dirt already. Because the flap is motorized, one does not have to touch it to open it, so that at least partially would neglect the dirt issue. Another potential issue might be damage, especially in challenging terrain. A third thing to consider is the height. Is it too low to be convenient on a daily basis? We assume that Tesla intends to install the charging inlet in the fender from a cost perspective. It's probably significantly less expensive to produce a vehicle with a more complex plastic fender, rather than to cut an opening in the stainless steel exoskeleton. On the Model 3 Model Y, the charging inlet was installed inside the light area, so again, probably a location that's cheaper to produce than in the case of body panels. It's similar to the Model S Model X. What do you think is the right location for a charging inlet on the Tesla Cybertruck? Source: reposted and summarized from Mark Kane at Inside EVS.